When it comes to being successful in the turkey woods, there's no doubt that one of those key factors is being able to locate birds. And for me, there's 2 locator calls that I like to keep in my turkey vest at all times. One being the owl hoot tube and another being a crow call. And depending on the time of day and the situation, kind of varies on which one I prefer to use. But like with hunting, everything hunting related is situational. And so you may have a situation where a bird may gobble to one better than the other, or a lot of times they won't gobble to either. So it's not a foolproof method by any stretch of the imagination. However, I will say I like to use my owl hoot tube more in roost situations, to where maybe you're locating a bird in the evening that you're going to go back and hunt the next morning. I like to use an owl hoot tube, or in the morning before daybreak. The birds haven't gobbled yet on their own. They're not starting to gobble yet. You may use an owl hoot tube to get them fired up in that situation. A crow call, on the other hand, you may use later in the morning when crows are more active. Traditionally, birds are more apt to gobble at a crow call. But I have found situations where in the middle of the morning, late morning, or whatever it may be, and they'll gobble at an owl call. So just depends on the bird, the mood, and the situation. So in the morning, I like to start out with just a normal hoot sequence. And if they don't gobble to the normal sequence, then I'll get more aggressive, like you have several owls in there. And if that doesn't even work, sometimes the longer, higher pitched owl hoot will work. So it just varies. Like I said, you just kind of switch it up and see what works. I will say they're a lot, more apt to gobble in the morning than they are going to be later in the day. And then with the crow call, same thing. Try to switch the tunes, switch the pitches a little bit. And then what I found is the quick crow calls are a lot more apt to get them to gobble. And actually, we got a bird over here in the woods that's actually gobbling. We heard him gobble earlier and he just gobbled again. But yeah, those are 2 calls that I use a lot to locate birds. And you'll find that by using these calls, they'll help you be more successful. You can set up on birds without them coming to a hen call like you would if you're setting up, scratching on a slate call. So I like to locate them first, set up, and then if they're talking and gobbling, a lot of times that means they're going to be pretty susceptible to a hen call. So use these locator calls to be more successful in the woods this spring.